Hi, gang, it's Adam.
And Patrick.
Coming up on today's episode, we count down our favorite Disney princesses in our feature segment, Fab Five. As always, we cover the latest Disney news and close out the show with some quick D. All that and more on today's episode of Gays Do the D.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Patrick Gagatrandra Kazaki.
I relate to that. I feel very drawn to it. Adam Royal Blue Hummel.
Oh, Royal. I get it. It all ties in to this week's episode.
It does. It does. Also, I'm wearing blue right now. So it's more about me than about the episode. But yeah, it does fit in.
Also, we need to point out to the listeners, you've got some fantastic specs on this week.
I am. Speaking of blue, in fact, I am wearing my blue blocking glasses today for today's episode.
Hashtag not sponsored. How are those specs treating you, PK?
They are fantastic. I swear by them. I use them for work. And I thought, you know what? Why not transition into using them for the podcast as well? So thank you. Hashtag not sponsored. Key glasses.
I also appreciate how much smarter they make you look.
Just looks, though. Looks are very deceiving. That's for sure.
Yeah, but looks are the most important, right?
100%. 100%.
Good. Patrick, how you doing?
I'm pretty good, Adam. It's still a little chilly here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We were teased with some 55-degree weather, and now we're back in the 40s. It's fine. Everything's fine, everybody. But it's been a good week. How about you?
I'm feeling great. I am freshly showered. I am plucked and polished and ready to record a fun episode of Gays Do the D.
Fantastic. Let's start the year, finally. Shall we?
Yeah. Everybody, if you could please wipe the slate clean up until this point. This is really when 2021 begins, this episode right here.
That's right. The end of March. We're finally figuring things out.
Ooh, by the way, end of March, Patrick. It's April this week.
It is. April is right around the corner, which means that Passover is happening and Easter is happening. Boy, oh boy.
You got to hide those eggs.
Like a drag queen.
Hide the eggs. Do you get baskets? Like, does Dan give you a basket? Does your mom stop by and say, "Hey, the Easter Bunny left this for you"?
No, not really. In pre-COVID times, we would definitely go over and paint some eggs with our nieces and nephews. We haven't done that in a while, as it turns out. But fun fact, Easter candy is my very favorite candy of the year.
Oh, this is your time to shine.
This is the time is now for my powers to be in full activation.
Is there one type of candy that really calls to you, one type of Easter candy?
Yes, any tart or sour jelly bean is my favorite.
Sour candy, just like the Gaga song.
Exactly like that. Or a peanut butter filled egg. I'm there for it all day long.
A peanut butter filled egg would be my go-to too. That really is quintessential, really any holiday or just day candy. It's my day candy.
There's something specific, though, about the Reese's peanut butter filled chocolate eggs that the chocolate to peanut butter ratio, the peanut butter is so much greater in the Easter ones.
Is it the glasses? Because you've really figured this out. You've got a whiteboard behind you, and there's several arrows pointing to different ingredients. Well done.
I don't know much, but I know a lot about candy.
And a lot about Disney, Patrick.
A smidge. I know a smidge about Disney.
Well, Patrick, we need to celebrate because not only do we have Passover and Easter and anyone who celebrates those holidays, happy those holidays to you, but we specifically, Patrick, and our Tweedles need to celebrate because this episode marks our 1-year paniversary.
Clever wordplay there. I don't know if celebrate is the word that we should be using, but we should definitely acknowledge at least that it has been 1 year since we've been in the same room together.
Let's get solemn about it. Yes, this is the time to be super serious about it. This is our 1-year anniversary. Our last live recording was episode 81 with our friends Paul and Bart. They gave a fantastic trip report of their kind of belated honeymoon trip to Walt Disney World.
That's right. They are always a treat. I can't wait to be in the same room with those two specifically. They are a hoot and a holler.
They're okay.
You can be there too.
Thank you so much. No, I love those guys. And I went back and listened to the episode, Patrick, just having a nostalgic moment. And I can't believe how dynamic it sounds when there's people in the same room.
Yeah. Turns out conversation is a thing that requires, I would say, good conversation requires being in the same room together. We're figuring it out, though, but it's definitely different. It's definitely different.
Yeah. So anyway, I guess whatever. I can't say happy solemn anniversary to you.
And also with you.
Thank you so much.
Well, we should celebrate at least a little bit on this episode, Adam. So why don't we give a shout out to a tweetle of ours, Ben, who's a relatively new listener, right? He just returned from a 2-week Disney World trip, driving all the way from Ohio.
That's the way to do it during a panty, is to drive that distance. I don't know if I would do it, but I admire the fact that he made that trip. It's probably the safest way to do it, right?
Who can say? I feel like air travel is actually fairly safe. It's the airports that are a little tricky, but listen, I'm not a doctor or a scientist. I just play one on the podcast.
I don't want to keep going back to your glasses, but with those glasses, you could be a doctor or a scientist.
I do play one in the bedroom sometimes, you know what I'm saying?
I like it, Patrick.
Yeah, it's mostly about checking the pulse, though, to make sure that they're still alive.
Checking the pulse, checking a temperature, I'm assuming, right? A lot of temperature checks.
Oh, Tweedle Ben, you were not signing up for this conversation.
He knew what he was getting into. No, Ben, welcome, first of all. And that is fantastic that you made the trip. 2 weeks. I'm assuming that included travel time to and from in your car, but that is a sizable Disney World trip.
It is indeed. I imagine he was not driving, although I don't know his life, but he did send us a lovely email on his trip back to Ohio.
He did. So thank you, Ben. We appreciate you as a listener and as a tweedle. Thank you for reaching out to us. Some sad news to report, Patrick. Wow, we are just like spiking and valleying as far as like emotions go today. Some sad news to report is that Disney legend Jim Cora passed away last week.
He did indeed. A remarkable Disney legend, actually. His career with Disney is astonishing and hashtag goals, really.
Really, I mean, he's one of those classic Disney stories where he started off in attractions. I believe it was at the Matterhorn, and he knew Walt Disney, or Walt Disney knew of him, and he was kind of moved into a training role, and then had this kind of meteoric rise through management and in training, and helped oversee some of the major international parks.
Yeah, absolutely. He rose very quickly to vice president of Disneyland International, and then to president of Disneyland International, and then to chairman of Disneyland International, where he then ultimately retired.
Quite an incredible career, and really instrumental, as I said, in kind of launching these training programs that we've all come to know and love, because it means that we are the beneficiaries of this kind of Disney level of service.
Yes, absolutely. Before we wrap up with this little story, I should read a little dedication that Josh D'Amaro gave after his passing. Josh D'Amaro, of course, Disneyland Resort president, he said about Jim Cora, his dedication to bringing Disney magic to people around the world was only matched by the passion he exuded throughout his career and for the many years that followed. He was one of our last connections to Walt Disney, and he will be missed dearly.
Oh, that was so well said. And an excellent point made. You know, we're losing these people who knew Walt. And so the kind of first tier connection to Walt Disney is shrinking rapidly.
True story. So, Jim Cora, thank you for all that you've done to the Disney community, and I imagine to the community at large in general. You will be very missed.
Moving on, Patrick, we received some Tweedle feedback from last week's episode, our A Walk in the Park segment, featuring part 1 of Disney's Animal Kingdom. First up, we heard from Rosaline, who you can find on Instagram at @PinToMyLou. And Rosaline simply said, #Dinoland forever.
Rosaline, I'm with you. Adam, you burnt.
I don't know. I'm going to say hashtag Dinoland for now, question mark.
Fair enough. We also had Trevor writing into us from Instagram at Trevor Roleg. Trevor says, "Hi, fellas. I wanted to start off by saying I love the new logo. Your new Walk in the Park segment was fantastic, and I'm so glad you're covering Disney's Animal Kingdom because there's truly so much to do there. I know the two of you aren't big on character meet and greets, but the meet and greets on Discovery Island are really fantastic and one of my favorite things about that part of the park. I still get all giddy when I think about the time my boyfriend and I met Daisy in Dinoland, and she remembered us from when we met her the day before in Magic Kingdom. I also had a very fun meeting with Kevin on Discovery Island, and she was an absolute delight. I actually skipped Dinosaur on my first visit to Animal Kingdom. My boyfriend was low-key scared to go on it, but it is a priority for me on my trip in October."
Excellent points, Trevor. Listen, Dinosaur is not for the faint of heart. It is very, very scary. And, Patrick, you're a fan of the meet and greets, so there's that.
Yeah, I actually am a fan of the meet and greets, and I totally forgot all about Kevin, who you can meet on Discovery Island. Kevin is one of the coolest walk-around characters that Disney has right now.
That was absolutely an Adam fail. I covered Discovery Island, and I did not mention Kevin, so shame on me.
Shame on you, Adam, but thank you for reminding us, Trevor.
We also heard from JJ, who you can find on Instagram at JSquare3. JJ said, "Thanks for the walk around Disney's Animal Kingdom. I can't wait to go there next month." Brag much, JJ? I'll actually be there on its birthday. I'm sure you'll get to it, but I love the drinks at Yak and Yeti. So good. Of all the rides at Disney World, my daughter is most excited for Triceratops Spin. Yeah, I don't know, but in her defense, she's 4. Chip and Dale are adorable in their dinosaur costumes and probably saved Dinoland USA. But yeah, that area is very Cedar Fair. Can't wait for the rest.
Listen, you can't win them all. You can't win them all with Dinoland.
I love how the littles are kind of the most obsessed with the rides that they could ride in each park, essentially. Like, there's just a replication of Dumbo or, the flying carpets, and now Triceratops Spin. Kids love those kind of flying spinny rides.
They do. They're actually, I really love them. There's something very nostalgic about them, which I was kind of thinking about this part of Animal Kingdom after we were done recording, in that I wonder if there's a fun analogy there with these rides being sort of the dinosaur of rides in Dinoland compared to the rest of Disney.
Patrick, is that the glasses again?
I need to wear glasses more often.
Yeah, that's a really great connection, Patrick, that kind of tie you just made to the very classic rides that we all grew up with, like at local fairs and, the rides in Dinoland USA.
Which may be extinct fairly soon, if you have anything to do with that, Adam.
Yes, I have been reaching out to Disney. They're not taking my calls, but they know how I feel.
They send you to a very separate line that no one ever answers now.
It's just like an administrative assistant saying, "Oh, God, it's him. It's him again."
True story.
Well, thank you, everybody, for your feedback on last week's episode. We can't wait for our part 2 and part 3 of Walk in the Park, Disney's Animal Kingdom.
Can't wait. Well, Adam, this feels like a good transition into our next little conversation. We were talking about last week's episode. Now we need to talk about some upcoming episodes here on Gaze Do the D.
Yes, we do. This is some administrative stuff we need to cover, and I hope you're all ready to take notes.
That's right. Mark your calendars, everybody.
Mark your calendars, because the next 3 episodes, the next 3 weeks of GDTD episodes are going to be a little bit different, right?
That's right. A little unique in our recording history. Nothing we haven't done before, but it's just 3 in a row that we haven't done before.
That's right. So, full disclosure, everybody, I'm dropping the T right here, right now. I'm moving. Can you even handle it?
Get out of here. Get out of Minnesota. We don't want you anymore.
I will get out of Minnesota. I'm actually leaving the state. I'm moving to Wisconsin. I'm moving to Oshkosh, Wisconsin, actually, where my brother and his wife lives, and my mom lives there too. And because of that, I need to take some time off. And so the next 3 episodes are going to give me a bit of a break to kind of get my life in order. And it gives all of you Tweedles, you're so fortunate, the opportunity to be entertained by some fabulous guest hosts.
That's right. We're bringing back some guest hosts. We haven't had one for like a year and a half now, it feels like.
The problem is they're too well received. And so, then we're like, do we replace one of us? And it's usually me, honestly, who needs the guest host. So I hear you all loud and clear. If you don't want me to come back, I guess comment below.
Send us your feedback at info@gazedothed.com. I'll be sure to read them to Adam's face the next time he's back here in the studio, or in his own studio, I guess.
So Patrick, who do we have up first next week?
Well, for April 5th, the episode that will drop on April 5th, we have JT joining us from the Disney Buzz, and we are going to do a Take 2 episode of DuckTales the movie, Treasure of the Lost Lamp.
Patrick, you've been talking about this movie for decades.
I am... It's true. Decades and decades. I am a lover of DuckTales, and I grew up watching DuckTales the movie on repeat, really.
And this is the super gay genie, right? This is the one that includes the super gay genie?
Super gay genie. Absolutely.
All right. So it will be perfectly on theme with our podcast.
Exactly. Very excited to have JT join us. And then on April 12th, Kale from the Steamboat Willies, who's been on the show before, will guest host. And we're going to do a Take 2 episode of The Emperor's New Groove.
Great Disney movie. That's 2 Take 2s. That's Take 4, really. It's 2, or a Take 2-2? I don't know.
Take double 2.
Take double 2. And it'll be so fun to have Kale on the podcast, too. You guys are always so fun together when you're doing your Instagram lives, or, we had him on to talk about Run Distanced, and that was such a fun little segment, too. So I'm excited to hear that episode.
Yeah, we're kind of amazing,
I know. I know. Yeah.
And then, Adam, on April 19th, we're both going to be out of commission. So we've pre-recorded an episode. Why don't you tell our Tweedles all about that?
So exciting. It is a return to the classic Walt Quisney episode featuring questions about Disneyland Park. And both Patrick and I had the very best time recording with Tweedle Allie, who you can find on Instagram at Allie_joy_W. She's fantastic. She's a teacher. She's a band teacher. She's very smart when it comes to her Disneyland knowledge. And it was a joy to record with her. So we think that you'll all really enjoy that upcoming episode on April 19th.
Yes, it was an Allie_joy, in fact.
In fact, that indeed. So yes, crossing that Mississippi, Patrick, and you know what that means, don't you?
I don't. Please tell me.
It means that we now consider ourselves bi-coastal if you consider the Mississippi River one of the coasts.
I did not take that into consideration, but I thank you so much for that trivia.
Yes. So we're really expanding the GDTD empire.
That's right. And boy, oh boy, when football season comes around, are we going to be rivals?
Oh, what you said.
Because you will now be the home of the Wisconsin Packaroonies? Is that what they're called?
The Wisconsin Packaroonies. That's really my number one reason for moving, is to return to my home state and support my home team, the Packaroonies.
That's right. The Packaroonies versus the Vikings.
That I would watch. That's a rebrand I endorse.
I would see a lot of touchdowns and passes, and I'd be involved, maybe. I might get into sports.
As the team doctor with your glasses.
Now just turn your head and cough, and we're going to be fine.
So enjoy these upcoming episodes. Thank you, Patrick, for really, you're going to be doing a lot of the heavy lifting, especially when it comes to working with JT and Kale, because those two are just nightmares. They have so many demands. Their riders that they submitted, I don't even know how we're going to be able to cover all of their demands.
I know. I just shipped a bunch of green M&Ms only to Kale's house, so we'll see how that goes.
What a needy bitch,
Very, very needy. No, and but congratulations to you, Adam, to you and Matthew, on your move to a new home, and thank you for your absence.
You are welcome, everyone. Patrick, Tweedles, you're so welcome. Patrick, that takes us into this week in Disney history.
Indeed, it does, Adam. This week in Disney history. 9 years ago, on March 29th, 2012, Disney's Newsies made its official Broadway premiere at the Nederlander Theater. The show was based on the 1992 Disney film, which was inspired by the Newsboys' strike of 1899 in New York City. The show features music by Alan Menken with lyrics by Jack Feldman, choreography by Christopher Gattelli, and the book is by, I did not know this, Harvey Fierstein.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know how I didn't know that before.
He is such a talent, both on and off stage.
True story, true story. Newsies was nominated for 8 Tony Awards. It won 2 of them, one for Best Choreography, very well deserved, and one for Best Original Score. The show played for 2 years on Broadway for over 1,000 performances before going on tour. The Broadway show was also filmed and released theatrically in 2017 and grossed over $3 million in just 3 days after its release. You can now catch both the Broadway production and the movie on Disney+.
Patrick, you are personally very attached to Newsies. Is there anything you'd like to say at this moment?
I want to thank all of the newsboys for their service in those pants.
Yeah, I think that was probably the most poetic thing you could have said in that moment.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Moving on, Adam, 18 years ago on March 30th, 2003, Disney held its very first inline skating marathon through the Walt Disney World parks and resorts. I'm looking at Adam's face now, and that's exactly what my face looked like when I noticed this little tidbit on the calendar. The event was held annually for just 4 years and was discontinued in 2007. In doing just a little research on this, it looks like there were tons and tons of injuries year after year, especially on years that it rained, which is almost all the time in Florida. I'm sorry to laugh if anyone was very dramatically injured, but I don't think anyone really was. But a lot of slips and spills. Oh boy! So that on top of the popularity of inline skating diminishing over the years is likely why this did not stick around for very long.
Oh my goodness! You know that's quite a historical moment for you to bring up, and I'm really just wondering, was it truly a spandex positivity moment for everyone?
It was making spandex normal again for a while. Oh, what a treat. What a treat.
Wow.
Oh, boy. Moving on, Adam. 31 years ago, on April 1st, 1990, a division of Walt Disney Animation Studios called Disney Movie Tunes opened a facility in Glendale, California. The studio will go on to produce 47 feature films, starting with DuckTales, the movie Treasure of the Lost Lamp, which we already mentioned we will cover in next week's episode. In 2003, the studio changed its name to Disney Toon Studios, and then Disney Toon Studios closed its doors in 2015 after the release of Tinkerbell and the Legend of the Neverbeast. Thanks, Tinkerbell.
Oh, it's always Tinkerbell's fault. She's like the Yoko of the Disney community.
She really is. She really ruins everything. Now, Adam, I have one more very special this week in Disney history to talk about. 50 years ago, Adam, on April 3rd, 1971, Patricia Gibbs would marry Stephen Kozaki. They'd go on to have 3 decent boys and one particularly amazing boy named Patrick Kozaki, who would go on to co-host an LGBTQ plus Disney podcast that would heal the world, quite frankly.
Yeah.
So happy anniversary, Pat and Steve, for your contribution to the Disney community, which is maybe the greatest gift of all, and that is me.
Happy anniversary, Pat and Steve. That's amazing.
50 years. And
wow.
You were born right around that time, weren't you?
It's really rude. This is my last episode in quite some time, and that's how you're going to leave things?
Listen, I'm not age shaming you. I'm just age recognizing you.
Oh, that's fantastic. 50 years. That's incredible.
Incredible. Happy anniversary, Mom and Dad. I love you.
I love you too. Happy anniversary, Mom and Dad.
And that, Adam, was this week in Disney history.
What great news. And speaking of great news, we're just going to keep the great news a-coming. Before we head into the news, we need to cover our giveaway winners. That's right. You know, in last week's episode, we launched our brand new logo. And in conjunction with that launch, we decided to have a giveaway of some T-shirts featuring our new logo.
Yes, indeed. I have to say, we got a lot of really great feedback on that new logo, by the way. So thank you for everyone who reached out to us. We love it as well, and we're so glad it's getting such a great reception from all of you.
And now, for the winners of these T-shirts, again, it's the winner's choice. They get to choose one of the new T-shirts that we launched, and the Instagram winner is Steve, who you can find on Instagram at Steve C. Smith. Congratulations, Steve.
Steve, congratulations. Pew, pew, pew.
Pew, 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 pew.
You're getting better at the air horn. Well done.
Thank you. I've been working on it. Yeah.
I can tell. Thank you so much for your dedication to the podcast. Congratulations, Steve. And now we also have a Patreon winner to announce. All of our Patreon members were forced into their own contest, right?
Yeah, that's the way we really should be announcing it. You are forced into this giveaway.
We're forcing one of you to win a T-shirt. And that winner is, drumroll please, beep. Haven't you missed that, Adam?
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to ignore the sarcasm in your tone. And our winner is Drew. Congratulations, Drew. Drew can be found on Instagram at DrewbyCoRuns.
Congratulations, Drew. I think Drew might be our first double winner ever.
I couldn't remember if he had won before, but you know what, folks? That's how it goes. When you are a Patreon member, you can win as many times as you are drawn.
Amazing. Yeah, I think Drew won the advent calendar of socks during our holiday giveaways last year. And now he has a T-shirt to go with those socks. All he's missing, or maybe not missing, is a pair of pants or shorts.
So Drew has won the Patrick outfit, really.
Drew has won what we call here on GDTD the classic Kazuki.
The full Kazuki.
Wow. Amazing. Congratulations, Drew. And I mean, talk about This Week in Disney History, our first double winner. And congratulations, Steve. We hope you boys enjoy those T-shirts. We'll be reaching out to you to get your sizes and to get which T-shirt you want, and we'll get those shipped off to you ASAP.
Absolutely correct. And for those of you who didn't win, fear not, you can still purchase a T-shirt on our online shop. If you head on over to gazedothedeed.com and click on that merch tab, which will take you on over to our Public merch shop, where you can browse all of the new designs, select your favorite, and again, 100% of the proceeds that we receive will right now go to the Okra Project.
And on top of that gift of shopping we've just given you, we're also giving you the gift. You've also won, I should say. I'm going to oversell this. You've won Disney News.
Oh my gosh, what is it, the holidays? It's amazing.
Happy Easter, happy Passover. Here's some news.
For your baskets.
For your baskets.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Last week, we reported that Disneyland had announced a reopening date of April 30th, 2021. And this week, we are excited and a little confused to report that Disney has announced a potential expansion of both Disneyland and Disney California Adventure. Now, I do say potential because as far as I can tell, nothing official has been approved, but that didn't stop Disney from fully putting up a website telling people what they hope to do.
Listen, if you want to guarantee approval, just say that it's already happened, right?
Basically, that's what they've done. It's pretty audacious, but I applaud them for it. The expansion is currently called Disneyland Forward, and it includes a theme park expansion, a new retail, hotel, and parking project as well. The majority of the expansion would happen on the eastern and westernmost parts of the current land operated by Disney. Now, it should be noted that in 1990, the city of Anaheim had previously come to an agreement with Disney on how far they could expand, which resulted in the parks we currently enjoy today. Today, Disney plans to renegotiate those terms, and it sounds like they are ready to jump in fairly aggressively. Quoted from the Disneyland Forward website, while those plans resulted in major improvements to the entire Anaheim resort, their traditional district zone approach does not allow for the diverse integration experiences theme park visitors now seek, severely limiting Disney's ability to continue investing in Anaheim. Now, Adam, those sound a little like fighting words to me.
Yeah, it's very interesting. We reported previously, I can't remember when it was, maybe over a year ago now. Yeah, definitely. About Disneyland Resort's planned expansion, at least when it came to a hotel. Remember, they were going to put a hotel kind of in the downtown Disney district area, and Anaheim said no, no, no. And then Disney kind of pulled back, and there was like some disagreement as far as like what the plan was going forward. So I was surprised when Disney said, oh, by the way, we're expanding.
And not only are we expanding, we're like breaking down walls and expanding. We're stretching our arms out. It's pretty extraordinary.
Yeah. I mean, I watch a lot of HGTV, Patrick, so I understand that you need support for the roof. You know, you can't just go knocking down walls. You need those beams, those structural elements that support the roof. And does Disney have it? We just don't know.
We don't know. We don't know yet. So while nothing has been made official, Disney has indicated that expansions to both Disneyland and Disney California Park could include Frozen, Peter Pan, Tangled, Zootopia, Toy Story Land, and the Tron Light Cycle, which would all take inspiration from other Disney parks around the world. The current Toy Story parking lot near the Anaheim Convention Center would be turned into a new shopping and dining district inspired by Disney Springs in Disney World. As part of the planning and to support developments, Disney intends to invest heavily in transportation, parking, and pedestrian safety measures to improve mobility throughout the Anaheim resort. Now, of course, all of this is still in the very early stages of planning. In fact, it is basically a dream put on paper right now, and Disney has announced plans before that absolutely never happened. But based on press releases and the website, it seems like they are ready to fight for this project. A quote from Disneyland Resort president and the man with the coolest name ever, Ken Potrock: "Thinking big and leading the way is both our legacy and our best path forward. Now is the time to be bold, to dream, to believe, and to lead. The world-renowned Disneyland Resort is poised to bring back jobs to our community, as well as new entertainment and experiences to loyal fans and new audiences for generations to come." To learn more about this project, go to DisneylandForward.com.
They've got a really good case for this expansion to happen. I mean, with the pandemic now and with the kind of massacre, is that too strong a word, that the pandemic has kind of wreaked on that area that's, you know, so well known for tourism. It's a tourism destination, the hotels, the restaurants, all of that. They've got a good case now to say, we want these expansions to happen so that we can bring in more jobs and bring in more tourists. I mean, with these expansions, Disneyland would kind of like muscle its way through the kind of more locals park that it's been referred to, and I really think would become more of an international destination.
Yeah, absolutely. I think making the case for the economics and making a case for bringing jobs to the Anaheim area is going to put Gavin Newsom in a very tough position to say no to this. So it's smart on their end. And you're right. I think this is going to poise them to be the ever-evolving Disneyland that it was always supposed to be, and sort of get them out of their stagnant place right now and revitalize it and be the destination all around the world for Disney attractions.
You know how YouTube makeup channels like approve brands? I approve this plan.
Perfect. That was perfect. Put a stamp of approval on it. Adam approves it.
GDTD approved. Last week, Disney Media and Entertainment Distribution announced new release details for a number of Walt Disney Studios' upcoming slate of films, including Disney's Cruella, Marvel Studios' Black Widow, and Disney and Pixar's Luca. Disney's live-action Cruella will launch simultaneously in theaters and on Disney Plus, with premiere access in most Disney Plus markets on Friday, May 28th, followed by Marvel Studios' long-awaited, that is an understatement, Black Widow on Friday, July 9th, respectively. Similar to the launch of Disney and Pixar's Academy Award-nominated Soul during the holidays, Disney and Pixar's Luca will stream directly into homes worldwide exclusively on Disney Plus beginning Friday, June 18th, as a special offering to kick off the summer season. In international markets where Disney Plus is not yet available, the film will be released theatrically with premiere dates to be announced. Patrick, they're releasing Luca just in time for Pride.
Very exciting, very exciting. I'm super excited to see that one. All three of these films, but I think Luca has a special place in my heart right now.
And it's so great that it's going to be free on the service. I mean, what a gift from Disney.
Yeah, it seems like they're going to just do this with every other film now. So it's going to be Soul, and then Raya and the Last Dragon, which was not free, and then Luca, which is free, and then Black Widow, which will not be free.
Great point. Yep. It's kind of like a buy one, get one.
That's exactly what it's like. And of course, we have to choose one of those films to go see in the theaters, Adam, and then broadcast live from the movie theater. What do you say?
It seems like the smartest idea we've ever had. Of the shifts in release dates and platforms, Kareem Daniel, Disney Media and Entertainment Distribution Chairman, stated, quote, "Today's announcement reflects our focus on providing consumer choice and serving the evolving preferences of audiences. By leveraging a flexible distribution strategy in a dynamic marketplace that is beginning to recover from the global pandemic, we will continue to employ the best options to deliver the Walt Disney Company's unparalleled storytelling to fans and family around the world," end quote. Theatrical release dates also shifted for several additional upcoming films. New release dates include Free Guy on August 13th, 2021. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is now going to open on September 3rd, 2021. The King's Man will open on December 22nd, 2021. Deep Water will open on January 14th, 2022. And Death on the Nile will premiere on February 11th, 2022. So it really seems, Patrick, that Disney has learned from this experience, this pandemic, or maybe this was kind of like their idea of what Disney Plus would become all along, but the pandemic really pushed them in the direction of having these kind of simultaneous releases in the theaters and on their platform.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, they are crushing it right now when it comes to making these quick decisions of when to pull the levers and when to put them in theaters and when to not put them in theaters. I think it's putting them in a great position and far ahead of any other studio, I think, right now when it comes to being able to release these anticipated movies to the masses.
I can't wait to see the Zack Snyder 4-hour cut of Luca.
The unrated version.
Pride Month.
Oh, dear.
On the heels of last week's reveal of new destinations and itineraries for summer 2022, Disney Cruise Line has announced new UK staycations with Disney Magic at Sea. This summer, guests can set sail on a unique staycation at sea aboard 2, 3, and limited 4-night cruises from the UK, departing on select dates from London, Tilbury, Newcastle, Liverpool. Wait, let me try that again. Liverpool and Southampton aboard the Disney Magic. DCL's new staycation sailings, exclusive to UK residents, invite guests to embark on a brand new magical Disney experience close to home and at sea. Guests will be immersed in Disney storytelling thanks to an amazing collection of onboard entertainment, dining, and recreation for the entire family with all the care you'd expect from Disney. Bookings begin in April for sailings in summer 2021. For more information, visit DisneyCruiseLine.com and search UK Magic at Sea.
That seems super exciting for them.
They need it, don't they?
The UK's been going through it right now, and so I feel like get them on a boat, get them out of the country, let them live their life somewhere else if they need to right now. I understand.
This honestly sounds like a right-wing deportation plan that was just proposed.
Do you think they're only going to serve like bangers and mash and like blood pudding or whatever the hell they eat over there? I don't know what it is.
I don't know, Patrick. Is that the way you sell a boat cruise with that food?
Yeah. I apparently, I don't know. I guess it's always tea time on that ship, you know? Depending on when you're listening to this, April is either here or around the corner. And no, I don't mean April O'Neil. Disney does not own the turtles yet. I do mean the beautiful month of April, which also means that Earth Month is here. And as per usual, Disney's Animal Kingdom has some wildlife experiences to celebrate.
They do.
Okay. So starting on April 2nd, Disney artists will begin transforming 40 tons of sand into a sculpture celebrating National Geographic's Secrets of the Whales, which will air on Disney Plus on April 22nd, Earth Day. The sand sculpture, once finished, will be on display on the Discovery Island stage through the end of the month. The Disney PhotoPass service will add special in-park Earth Day backgrounds and magic shots, that term always disturbs me, and Earth Day screensavers and Zoom backgrounds will be available for download on the My Disney Experience PhotoPass gallery. The Wilderness Explorers activity will include a limited-time Earth Day Nature Badge while supplies last, and a limited edition Earth Day Te Fiti Moana pin will be available for purchase at select shops and kiosks throughout the park. As with any celebration, specialty cupcakes will also be sold at Creature Comforts and Flame Tree Barbecue, including the Honeybee Cupcake, the Strawberry Flamingo Cupcake, and the Sea Turtle Graham Cracker Cupcake. Adam, it's all about the cupcake.
Always the cupcake. Can I also ask a question while we're paused?
Of course.
Did someone in the Disney World chain of command inherit some kind of like sand farm or something? Because lately it's just been like sand sculpture after sand sculpture.
They're really beautiful, though. Have you seen them before?
Oh, yeah. Gorgeous. Where's all the sand coming from?
If there's not a sand sculpture or a cupcake, there was no celebration. That's for sure.
Give us the sand cupcake, Disney. Where is the cupcake full of sand?
That mistake is bound to happen sooner or later. So over at the Animation Experience at Conservation Station, Disney artists will highlight some of their favorite Disney characters whose real-life counterparts can be found in Animal Kingdom, including Dumbo, Turk, Squirt, Shere Khan, Simba, and Scar. And be sure to keep your eyes peeled for special appearances by rarely seen characters who will be joining the Discovery River character cruise throughout the day. And of course, you can celebrate and learn more about the Earth and its inhabitants all year long by visiting DisneyAnimals.com or by checking out Magic of Disney's Animal Kingdom on Disney Plus, or follow Disney's Animals Science and Environment accounts on Instagram at Dr. Mark at Disney and on Facebook at Disney ASE.
Would you say, Patrick, that there will be pop-up appearances by special characters for Earth Month?
There will be pop-up appearances, pop-up cupcakes, pop-up sand sculptures. It's all going to pop up, you know? Especially if Tarzan is there, and then there's going to be a very special pop-up appearance. You know what I mean?
Some great news for the lovers, the dreamers, and Muppet fans like me. The song The Rainbow Connection, written by Paul Williams and Kenneth Asher, and sung by the one, the only Kermit the Frog in the Muppet movie, has been included in the National Recording Registry Class of 2020. Each year, the National Recording Registry of the Library of Congress recognizes songs and audio recordings, quote, worthy of preservation for all time based on their cultural, historical, or aesthetic importance in the nation's recorded sound heritage, end quote. The Rainbow Connection was recognized alongside other iconic recordings by Janet Jackson, Kool and the Gang, LaBelle, Jackson Browne, Nas, Louis Armstrong, and many others. The Rainbow Connection, with its hopeful message and dream fulfillment, is the first song from the very first Muppet film in 1979 and quickly became an instant classic. It was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Original Song and has been covered dozens of times by a variety of artists over the years. In fact, Kermit re-recorded the song in a video just last year that was part of hashtag Disney Magic Moments. When Librarian of Congress, Dr. Carla Hayden, recently asked Kermit for his reaction to the news, Kermit replied, quote, "Well, gee, it's an amazing feeling to officially become part of our nation's history. It was a great honor. I am thrilled to be the first frog on the list." End quote.
Oh boy, that was disturbing.
I just want Disney to know, should a replacement be needed, I'm here for them, because that Kermit was spot on.
Mm-hmm. I think, you took a leap and you did not land on that lily pad.
Patrick, royalty hasn't been getting the best rap lately.
Not according to Oprah.
Not according to Oprah, not according to Meghan Markle. But, there's some good royalties, maybe not in the real world. I don't know. I don't want to do like a historical dig into real royalty right now. But what I do want to talk about is some super fake royalty.
It's real to me, Adam. It's all real to me.
It's real to me, too. It's real to our listeners. And on top of that, we're closing out Women's History Month. So that, in conjunction with our love of fake royalty, leads us only to one place, and that is a Fab 5 Disney Princesses segment.
I love this. We got to close out the month celebrating the ladies.
I wanted this segment to begin with Ladies' Night, the song Ladies' Night, but that would be an infringement on copyright. Fair enough. And what better way, really, to celebrate the end of Women's History Month than by rating women, There's no better way. There's no better way to do it. Really. There's not.
Nope.
But it comes from a place of love, right? We love these ladies. There are some fantastic Disney princesses we need to acknowledge. Their contributions to their fantasy worlds should not go unrecognized.
They need their day in the sun, gosh darn it.
So it's time to count down our Disney princesses. Patrick, can you believe that we haven't done this segment yet?
I think it's a travesty, really, that we have not done this already. I don't know what we were thinking, but we're finally thinking.
We're finally thinking it's really our bad that this has not happened. Shame on GDTD.
Shame on us, indeed. But you know what? Maybe we waited for good reason, because now there are so many more princesses to celebrate than there were when we first started recording.
That's right. And we're not just considering the official Disney princesses. We've expanded the princess definition to include any princess in Disney lexicon. There's some kind of like unofficial, I believe they're called princesses in waiting because they're not officially recognized by Disney, but we're including all the ladies that have royal lineage.
Yeah, you know what, Disney? I love you, but I don't agree with your list of quote unquote official Disney princesses. I think a princess is in your heart, Adam, and and that's how I made my list.
Yeah, there's a princess in my heart for sure. There's also a princess in my brain and in my attitude.
Agreed.
Prince, yes,
A prince, yes.
A prince, yes. All right, so let's dig into this, Patrick. Very exciting. Do you want to kick us off with your number 5, Fab 5 Disney princess?
I certainly can, Adam. I certainly can. I am going to start us off with a princess, but not an animated princess, Adam. I'm going to talk about Shuri from Black Panther.
Yes, you are.
Love this character. Love her so much. The only reason that she's not higher up or on the top of my list is I feel like I did want to pay homage to our animated princesses because they are like the true princesses that people think about. But Shuri is for sure a Disney princess.
For sure she is. And what a great combo of royalty. But she's got that brain, Patrick. She's got that brain.
That's absolutely true. So Shuri was played by Letitia Wright, and I do have to give a little acknowledgement that she's in some hot water right now for some comments that she made on, I believe, her Twitter feed a while back. So please try to remove the opinion of the person and only consider the character.
Interesting. I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'm immediately heading to Twitter after this recording session.
Listen, I'm not here to talk about it, so I do recommend that you look it up if you want to, but it was a little bit problematic. So Letitia Wright did play Shuri, and I have to say it was a wonderful performance. Back in 2018's Black Panther, and then of course in Infinity War, and again in Endgame, and Shuri will be back in Black Panther 2. So, as I said, at first I was a little hesitant to add a princess outside of the traditional Disney princesses realm, but Adam, it's our podcast, and we do what we want. We do what we want, you know?
Absolutely. We do absolutely what we want. Has it been confirmed yet that she's going to be the new Black Panther?
From what I'm reading, there has been zero confirmation on who the Black Panther will be, who's going to take that torch. I'm hoping that she will, but I also kind of love the character that she plays. Do you know what I mean? I don't need her to be the actual Black Panther in the suit.
That's right. She fills that perfect role of kind of like a sidekick. And would it be too much Shuri? I mean, there's no such thing as too much Shuri, but what I'm saying is we need her to be a side dish. Is that what we need?
That's an interesting term. She's sort of like Q to James Bond in the James Bond movies, and that fills a very specific role, and I think she plays it perfectly. This character is amazing. She's goals, really. She's the brains behind the operation of Wakanda in general.
Yeah, she's goals, and she's gold as an addition to that story. Is she better serving the story by just popping up in these scenes and having these like killer one-liners and these kind of amazing side takes? Like, I just love her contribution to the first film.
For sure, absolutely. She's absolutely just as fierce as her brother in Black Panther, if not more fierce, because she can both fight and she knows how to make all the gadgets that make the Black Panther next level Black Panther. So I'm hoping so hard that she has a bigger role in the next Black Panther movie, but I'm torn about whether or not I want her to fill the suit or not.
Yeah, that's a valid concern. I think that makes sense, but we'll see. I guess if there's anyone that can pull it off, it's Ryan Coogler, right?
That's absolutely correct. Absolutely.
I know.
Correct.
I know it is.
Adam.
Yeah.
No, Shuri is an amazing character. One of my favorite quotes of hers is, just because something works doesn't mean it can't be improved, which I love. I want to take that into my own life.
Yeah, we should really apply that to this podcast.
We should start doing that, probably, improving it.
Oh, God, that just sounds like a lot of work, though, doesn't it?
It sounds like a lot of work, but here's the thing. My dream is that we are going to get lots more from this character as we explore the MCU more.
Love it. What a fantastic way to kick off this list, Patrick.
Thank you so much. You got to start with fierceness.
Start with fierceness. And that's exactly what I'm going to do, because my number 5 choice for Fab 5 Disney princesses is Belle.
I'm surprised by this, actually. I thought she'd be higher up on your list.
I thought so, too, when I started making my list. But then, one turn leads to another, and suddenly you're discovering things not only about the characters, but about yourself.
Well, tell us what you discovered about Belle and yourself, Adam.
I will do that, yeah. Well, first off, as everyone knows, she appeared in 1991's Beauty and the Beast. Her supervising animator was Mark Henn, who was known for his Disney heroines. We've talked about Mark on the podcast before. He is well known for drawing female characters like Jasmine, Mulan, Tiana, Belle, Giselle, Ariel. I mean, talk about princesses that could easily appear on this list. I just listed off a ton of them, and they're all because of Mark Henn. So talented. She was voiced by Paige O'Hara, and she was based, Patrick, on Katharine Hepburn's role of Jo March from the film adaptation of the book Little Women.
Ooh, you went deep on these characters.
Not really. That's kind of where it ends. Now I'm just going to talk about why I love her.
Got it. Yeah, I stayed very surface level for all of mine.
That is exactly where we need to be. Surface level is perfect. Okay, so why do I love Belle? It's because she's a gorgeous outcast like me.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you see it?
I do? Question mark?
Listen, she's intelligent with a curious mind, and she's considered odd by the townsfolk, right? And that's because of her love of reading. But I think, Patrick, the reason I'm so drawn to her and why so many of our brothers and sisters are drawn to her is because it's relatable content for the LGBTQ plus community, right? Like, she is an outcast, and our community is full of outcasts and misunderstood people. And I think that's maybe why, specifically me, I can only speak for myself, I guess, but that's why I'm drawn to her journey.
Absolutely. Yeah, we talked about this a little bit when we talked to Susan Egan, more specifically about the Broadway production Belle, where she has that song Home, and about being trapped in a prison and knowing in your mind you're not always going to be there, you can get out. And that sort of relates to the LGBTQ plus community as well.
Totally, Patrick. And as I was, considering Belle for my list, it is cool how Disney expanded her character for the Broadway show. If you've seen the Broadway show, you know there's just a little bit more meat to Belle. She's great in the animated film, but the Broadway Belle really is that much more kind of well-rounded, I would say, as an individual.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, they just gave her just a little bit more meat, a little bit more of an interesting story to latch onto.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Belle, for me, kind of fulfills the role as a Disney princess of sacrifice, right? Because she takes the place of her father in the Beast's dungeon. And then she also kind of fulfills the role of understanding, because there is such a shift she takes. I mean, she was always a good person, but she really does see beyond than Beast's exterior, almost like looking beyond the cover of a book, Patrick. Oh.
I see what you did there. Clever.
Thank you so much. And her relationship with the Beast is interesting in that it develops from fear into friendship into love, which is not a journey we typically see with Disney princesses, right? Like, typically it's just like immediate infatuation with the guy, or they just kind of hate the guy. And so I thought her kind of journey with the Beast was kind of a standout as far as the relationships go in princess films.
Yeah. Absolutely. There's something very comforting about Belle in the movie, and maybe it's just her voice that's very comforting. But also, I would say in the parks when you see Belle. Now, I don't really love live characters, but Belle is one that when I see her, I'm just like, I feel like I need to talk to her and tell her my problems.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I think it might be due to the fact that she's an intelligent character, right? I think that there is that level of comfort, like, she's got this, she kind of knows how to handle the situation.
Yeah, there's something very kind and human and relatable about Belle.
Just like me. Just like me.
Just like you.
Thank you. So that's my number 5 choice, Belle from Beauty and the Beast.
Excellent, excellent choice, Adam. That brings us to number 4 on our lists, and my number 4 Disney princess is Vanellope von Schweetz.
Ooh, Patrick, I gotta say, your number 5 and your number 4 choices, not traditional Disney princess roles.
That's just how I roll, Adam. Not traditional. I'm a non-traditional princess, you know?
You definitely are a non-traditional princess.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Vanellope von Schweetz, of course, is from 2012's Wreck-It Ralph, and then 2018's Ralph Breaks the Internet, and voiced by the amazing and hilarious Sarah Silverman. And as you said, Adam, Vanellope is non-traditional. She's for me the perfect anti-princess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I love an anti-princess. If it was allowed in the film, she'd kind of be giving the middle finger to the other princesses. You know?
She almost did, kind of, in Ralph Breaks the Internet. It was real close. It was touch and go there for a minute. But in fact, as an anti-princess, spoiler alert, nobody knows she actually is a princess at first, including herself. It's very Anastasia, you know?
Very Anastasia. Also now a Disney property. Will she appear on our lists? Who knows?
Who can say? Who knows? But we, of course, do discover that Vanellope is a princess at the end of Wreck-It Ralph, and that she is the rightful ruler of the Sugar Rush Kingdom. But even then, she's not having it with the title of princess and declares herself the president, which, I mean, Yas Queen. Yas Queen.
Yes, Queen, indeed. What a perfect kind of closer to that film for her to give herself that title.
Absolutely. And what a delightful sort of turn on the Disney princess sort of theme, I guess, of just going, you know what, this doesn't really fit me. Though I am a princess, I'd rather be this. And so I have my own agency here, which Vanellope absolutely does.
She does. She does indeed. I love it.
So I think Vanellope is a great character because she's an outcast, which makes her even stronger and more of a determined character. She learns to use her glitch as a superpower, which is maybe one of the best lessons of all in a Disney movie, in my opinion. She's hilarious. She's a nonconformist. And I think she's got a great journey story throughout both movies. In fact, I would argue that Wreck-It Ralph and Ralph Breaks the Internet are more about Vanellope and her growth than it is about Ralph's.
Totally. It's totally more about Vanellope. I mean, Ralph is a great character too, but Vanellope, there's just a lot more there to kind of mirror your own experiences.
For sure. And I love a character who wants more, right? Like the entire journey of Vanellope is just her I Want song, just played out in real life. Well, in animated life, I guess.
Yeah, she is a great character. She is so strong on her own, but then also becomes more vulnerable as the films go on. And that's so endearing to see as well.
Yeah, it's really cool to see a character who doesn't relax into what they've been given, right? So even as Ralph Breaks the Internet journeys on, we see her go through this journey of like, I thought I liked this, but actually I like this now. And so I'm going to discover that and not stay where I am and explore the world, which is inspirational, I think.
A very complex character, for sure.
Absolutely, which is funny because she's, 6 years old?
I don't know. Is she? I have no idea. Is she a kid? Is she an adult? Is she just a tiny adult?
I think she's perpetually like a young preteen, I think.
That's relatable content for you.
Yep. That's why she's my number 4.
Love Vanellope. She absolutely needs to be on our list. That takes me to my number 4. And Patrick, here's where I think we're going to cross over, though maybe not in the ranking or the position of this princess, but it was bound to happen. I think of any of our Fab 5 lists, it feels like we're going to cross over maybe even twice or 3 times on this list. But my number 4 choice is Rapunzel.
Fascinating. I'll hold my comments.
Oh, well, I hope you just contribute a little bit. Can you at least do that?
We'll see.
She is from 2010's Tangled. Her supervising animator was Disney legend Glenn Keane, who was actually slated to direct the film, Patrick. I had no idea, but he had to step back due to health concerns. Glenn Keane also animated some classic Disney characters like Beast, Aladdin, Pocahontas, Tarzan. She was voiced and sung by Mandy Moore. And the reason I love Rapunzel, Patrick, is because she, to me, is like the scrappiest of the princesses and very rough and tumble, and that really appeals to me. She's also very innocent and at the same time, I think, maybe the most neurotic of all the Disney princesses, and rightly so, right? I mean, she's been in a tower her whole damn life.
Yeah, she's got a real mental health journey that she goes on.
She definitely does. Mental health journey. There's a lot of discovery there. I just love her. And I think of all of the princesses, she has the cutest meet cute with her romantic interest. And of course, I'm talking about Flynn here. And it's fun to see their relationship play out and how each grows from the other's presence, kind of in opposite ways, right? So Rapunzel kind of starts off very innocent in the film, and Flynn is an absolute scoundrel, and they kind of level each other out in a very endearing way, and they end up both kind of growing over the course of the movie. I just love watching that play out to the point where, and we've talked about this on the podcast before, the incantation at the end when, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the film, spoiler alert, when Flynn dies is such a complex adult moment, right? Like the film is so colorful and so vibrant and very lively, but as it goes on, it actually does become more and more adult, and they grow up. And the story grows up, you know, until we reach this kind of very tragic, sadly beautiful moment at the end of the film where Rapunzel really does become this adult. The world becomes very real to her very quickly. And I loved seeing that kind of transition throughout the film.
Yeah, I know that we're supposed to sort of stick to the character, but it's hard to remove them from the movie that they're in as well. And in your describing Rapunzel herself, it sort of describes the movie itself too, right? It's one of those really classic, epic journeys, adventure stories. It's just a really great, and she's so great in it too, as sort of the heroine of an adventure story, which you don't see a lot in Disney movies or movies in general.
That's true. And she's so game for anything, right? Like she's been in seclusion for so long that, yes, when she first gets out, there's that great scene where she kind of vacillates back and forth between being completely comfortable being outdoors and then being completely terrified by it. But after those moments, she really is truly excited by each new discovery she has along the way. And that's really fun to see from a leading character.
Yeah, it's her year of yes, all in one day.
That's right. That's absolutely right. Yeah. So that is my number 4 choice, Rapunzel from Tangled.
Great choice, Adam. You'll have to wait and see where I placed her on my list because I'm not going to talk about her next for number 3.
I would assume you wouldn't. I assumed she's going to be quite high up on your list.
You don't know me. You don't know me, but you do know that much at least. So for me, number 3 on my Fab 5 Disney princess list is Tiana from 2009's The Princess and the Frog.
Oh, Tiana. I mean, both of us love and adore you, and Patrick's about to explain why.
For so many reasons, not least of which is because she's voiced by the remarkably talented Anika Noni Rose. Such a great actress, person, singer. Love her. And she really brings herself to the character of Tiana, which I think makes her such a delicious character to watch and listen to.
There's a real ease to her performance of Tiana, and I really love that. You know how some princesses can be so forward and bright, and I think Anika kind of grounds Tiana more so.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. We talked a lot about this in our take 2 of Princess and the Frog, so go back and listen to all of that. But we're going to talk about Tiana specifically now. So Tiana, much like Belle, falls into the category of princess by marriage, but she also fits the princess mold, at least in the more recent Disney movies, of being a very strong, independent woman. She's the only princess who actually has a job, Adam.
That is scandalous, Patrick.
I mean, and not only that, but her aspirations aren't love-related or family-related. They're very work-related, which sort of sets her aside from all of these other Disney princesses in a great way. And of course, this is helped by the fact that she lives in a very real location. She's part of a small group of Disney characters, princesses specifically, who don't live in a fictitious world, although ironically she does now, I guess, as she is the Princess of Meldonia, which is where Prince Naveen is from.
It's the dream we all have, to be so successful in yourself and in your own career, but also have that prince at your side who's supporting you and also taking you for frequent visits to his fictional kingdom.
Who doesn't want that? What happens in Meldonia stays in Meldonia.
Ooh.
So what I love about Tiana and what I can relate to is her determination, I think, paired with her methodical nature. She's not, unlike Rapunzel, she's not random or easily distracted. She has a plan. She breaks things down into steps. She's very practical and smart, and she's more than earned her spot. In fact, she's literally worked for her spot more so than any other princess before her, I think.
Yes, and that has served her, right? But also kind of has been a detriment to her because she learns along the way that, you know, there's fun to be had too, right?
Yeah, for sure. There's that great quote that she has in the movie, sort of toward the end of the movie. She says, "My daddy never did get what he wanted, but he had what he needed. He had love. He never lost sight of what was really important, and neither will I," which is sort of the lesson that she learns or gains, I guess, on her journey.
She is an interesting character because, and I don't mean this in an entirely negative way, but she is sort of living in her father's shadow in the sense that she kind of took over his dream. I mean, they both had a love of cooking and that food brought them together. But, you know, since his passing, she kind of was very tunnel vision on that goal of owning her own restaurant. And so it is fun to watch her journey throughout the film where, yes, she still has that dream. She's still kind of honoring her father with her dream, but it becomes even more so her design for that dream.
Yeah, it turns into more about remembering that family is the reason he had that dream to open the restaurant. It wasn't just the restaurant, it was the family behind it that inspired it all.
Yeah. Yeah. Family is the reason for the season, right?
It is. It is indeed the saying. I think outside of Rapunzel, who already has her own TV show, I'm most interested in seeing Tiana's story after the movie, which we're about to get, which I can't wait for. I find myself so invested in her now that she's reached her goal at the end of the movie. Now what? Now what's next for her is what I want to know.
Yes, absolutely. And spoiler alert, I'll just admit this right now. Tiana's not on my list. And that is the very reason why. I think the series Tiana is going to launch her onto my list because she's a frog through most of the movie, right? And
Yeah.
I think I said this during our take two. What's more interesting to me is her story as a human and her desire to have the restaurant and her goals in that regard. And so I'm very, just like you, Patrick, very, very excited to see the series.
Yeah, I think we're going to get a more complex character out of the series, which was sort of sprinkled into the movie, but not fully fleshed out. And now I think finally we're going to get to see that story. And hopefully we're going to learn where Maldonia is as well.
Oh, yeah. Are they going to be jet setting or, boat setting back and forth?
Who can say? Depends on where it is, I guess.
I guess. Maldonia is in our hearts, Patrick.
It is. It is indeed.
Well, Tiana's an excellent choice. I thought she might be on your list. I was absolutely correct, so I'm patting myself on the back. And yeah, that new series, it cannot come fast enough.
So exciting. So exciting. So, Adam, please tell us who your number 3 princess is.
I will do that. My number 3 princess is Pocahontas from 1995's Pocahontas.
I had a feeling she'd make your list.
Regardless of how you feel about the film, there were some historical liberties that were taken with Pocahontas, would you say, Patrick?
Some is a very, I don't know, overused word. There was the whole movie was a historical inaccuracy.
Yes, regardless of that, you have to admit that Pocahontas is an admirable character. Her supervising animator, again, was Glenn Keane, and she was voiced by Irene Bedard, and her singing voice was provided by Judy Kuhn. And what I love about Pocahontas is her connection to nature and spirit, which is such a message in the film. Her songs, her plot points, her character details, it's all about that connection to not only her own spirit, but the connection that she has with nature. And I also love her longing for the unknown and adventure. And she has a very interesting kind of development in that she's uncertain of her role in her community, but she still wants to do the right thing, even if it's not the thing that she wants out of her life, right?
Yeah, absolutely. She was almost a pioneer of princesses in that storyline.
Absolutely. In fact, she was the first princess to choose her people over her romantic interest in the film.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. That's an interesting fact.
And I said this on last week's episode, too. I love a tragic ending, and Pocahontas has a really beautiful ending. It's the correct ending, not the historical ending, again, but it is the most beautiful ending in that she's making this choice. And while she does love John Smith, she's making the choice to really be there for her people and also, in a way, kind of be there more for herself than being thrust into this relationship into a new world she doesn't know.
Yeah, that's a great point. Pocahontas almost made my list for everything that you're saying now. I think the only thing, and it's not a small thing, is because of the movie itself, which is why, and it's not Pocahontas' fault. I almost wanted this movie specifically to just not be about Pocahontas at all. Just make it a very different movie about a Native American tribe during this time. I think it could have been more interesting. I get that the name recognition of Pocahontas helped it out for sure, but there was just almost nothing in this movie that actually happened to Pocahontas.
Yeah, except for Miko, right?
Yes, indeed. And Flit.
No, you're right. I can see how that is kind of a major obstacle to get past in watching the film. I've talked about the movie before, and what really speaks to me is not only Pocahontas' story, but also the music and the kind of love story that occurs between her and John Smith, and then her commitment to her people. I also just purely purely on an aesthetic level, I think she is the most gorgeous Disney princess out of the whole bunch.
Yeah, the movie itself is a masterpiece in animation, and they really painted a beautiful soul on screen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a great way to put it, Patrick. The soul of the movie is so beautiful, and the message is great. It's just not the historically accurate message, unfortunately, but she is worth it in my book. I love her, and I want more for her.
I mean, true words.
Yeah, I want more for Pocahontas, the actual person and the animated character. I'd love to see more from her. I doubt we'll get it, but she is on my list. She's my number 3 choice, Pocahontas.
She's great. That's a great choice. And I think that I'm glad that you added her, because I think it's important, because we're talking about the princesses themselves and not the movies. If you remove Pocahontas from the movie, she's a wonderful character, an aspirational character.
And as you said before, it's tough to separate them from the material that they're in, but by golly, I'm going to do it, Pocahontas. Okay, Patrick, that takes us to our number 2 choices. Who is your number 2?
Number 2 on my list of Disney princesses is Moana from 2016's Moana.
All right, I'm just going to say right now, she's my choice for number 2, too.
All right, well, we'll co-anchor this section then.
That sounds great.
So she was voiced by the delightful Ali'i Cravalho, who, fun fact, I believe is the only voice actress who was younger than the character when she played her.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, I think Moana is supposed to be around 16 or 17, and I believe Ali'i was like 13 years old when she did Moana.
Ooh, interesting. I love it.
Someone will have to fact check me on that, but I think those are around the numbers.
Also, how gross is it that a 13-year-old could sing How Far I'll Go like that?
I mean, get out of town. Get out of town,
Get
Ali'i.
out of town, Ali'i.
But don't, because you're amazing. Please stay. Please stay. Now, some don't consider Moana a princess, much like they don't consider Pocahontas a princess, because technically they're not royalty and their fathers are chiefs on their island, which for me is just as good, if not better, because it's reality.
Yeah, and probably more like community focused, right? As opposed to a king who's like, I'm just the God-chosen leader.
Yeah, absolutely. And much like Pocahontas, Moana is surrounded and drawn to water. In fact, her name actually means ocean.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, that makes sense because she's chosen by the ocean to be a leader.
So selected by the ocean. And thank goodness, because she did it. She made it happen.
That's also how I was chosen to be on this podcast.
The ocean grabbed you.
It certainly did. Yeah, as a baby.
We mean Frank Ocean, of course.
Please, I wish you would.
We could do worse, couldn't we?
Yeah, Moana is an absolute necessity on both of our lists. Her supervising animator was Malcolm Pierce, and someone may need to correct us on this. That's all I could find online. And he worked as an animator on Tangled, and then went on to work on Wreck-It Ralph and served as an animation supervisor for Frozen and Big Hero 6, and most recently worked on Raya and the Last Dragon. So if that's incorrect, I apologize, but that's all I was able to find. I love Moana because she's so adventurous and headstrong, but also devoted to her family. And that's kind of where the film's conflict comes into play, right? Like, her family's telling her one thing, or specifically her father, but she has this kind of wayfarer spirit within her that she can't ignore and needs to be out on that water, and kind of knows that that's her journey.
Yeah, for sure. I have that actually in my notes as well. What's really interesting about that character is that, in fact, in the beginning of the movie, she's not afraid to even try that path. She gives it a go, right? She's like, okay, maybe I can try being the leader of these people in the way they want me to be. But something literally calls her into the ocean, and she realizes she has to discover herself. She has to discover this path, regardless of what that is. And it's for her people. It's not for herself. She's doing it for her people.
That's right. Yeah. And as far as the stakes go, I mean, they can't get much higher. She needs to save the world. It's true. She's saving the world. She's not only saving her island, but, you know, the world's dying, Patrick, and it's up to Moana to save it.
She's basically an Avenger.
She is an Avenger. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that she has this story of discovery, right? And it's not about who she is as a person necessarily. It's about where she fits in and what her passions are and what her contributions to the village and to the world will be.
That's right. Yeah. Plus, no love interest.
I have that on my list as well. I love that she is not led by a love interest in any way at all. No romantic story at all, which is so great to see.
It really is great to see and very compelling. Like the story is still very compelling. It is still quite the journey. And she has one of the best ballads. I've already mentioned it, but How Far I'll Go is one of the best songs in any Disney movie.
The whole soundtrack for me is one of the best full, complete Disney soundtracks that's out there. And that song specifically, what an amazing song.
Yeah, each song, while great on its own, tells a story. It's part of a larger story, right? Like, you know how in Frozen 2, the songs are kind of their own thing. Maybe that's not the right way to put it, but Kristoff's song, for instance, you know, that kind of 80s power ballad, it's there, right? And it's, I don't know if it's kind of jammed in there, but it doesn't necessarily speak to the rest of the music in the film. Whereas the soundtrack for Moana, each song, you know it's from the same soundtrack.
Yeah, it's kind of like Rapunzel in that way as well, where all the songs are great, but they could also be part of other movies as well, whereas Moanas are all very specifically part of the Moana story.
That Lin-Manuel, you know?
I do know as well. Fun fact, Adam, that there is a cat version of Moana in Zootopia called Meowana.
Well, if Zootopia comes to Disneyland, I can't wait to experience at least the poster for Meowana.
It needs to happen. It needs to happen. One more thing I want to add about Moana. 0% of the movie is about her body or her style or her appearance in any way, if that makes sense. In fact, she's one of the more realistically drawn human characters for a Disney princess.
Yes, she has a body that is a real body.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I know exactly what you mean.
You know, you see those people online who have like drawn the Disney princesses as they would be in real life. And Moana, while she does have like animation attributes, I would say, you know, like any animated character would, her body for sure is like a real human body.
For sure. And her outfit, while realistic and probably rooted in factual elements of what she would have worn at that time and in that location, it's not about wearing a gown. It's not about a fashion moment at all for her. It's just all about the character and the journey and the drive, which I love.
Yeah, it's such a great character. I still remember the first time seeing this movie in the theater and just being floored by how great it was.
For sure. It sort of started my love affair with Disney's love affair with drawing water.
Yes, we've talked about that too. This movie was a giant leap forward as far as what Disney could achieve with water. Amazing.
So amazing. And how beautiful is that moment with baby Moana when the water is sort of playing with her? I could watch that all day long.
It is heartwarming. It endears you to her immediately. It is a perfect introduction to Moana.
Perfect indeed. And we're perfect, Adam, for co-signing on Moana as our number 2.
We absolutely are. I'm so proud of us, Patrick.
So proud. But now we're in a predicament because technically you're next, Adam. Do you want to reveal your number 1 first?
We'll do a swapsies. Yeah, I will reveal my number 1 and then I'll throw it to you to close us out.
Fan-tastic.
So my number 1, and this is a little bit surprising to me, but I will explain myself. My number 1 Fab 5 Disney princess is Ariel.
Interesting. I did not expect that whatsoever.
I didn't either until I really, again, looked inside myself and figured out who I was and what I wanted out of this list. And by gum, Patrick, Ariel presented herself. She is from 1989's The Little Mermaid. Her supervising animator, as I already mentioned, from my number 5 choice, was Mark Henn. She was voiced and sung by Jodie Benson. And here's why, Patrick. Ariel is my number 1 choice. I have several reasons. Here we go.
I'm ready.
I feel like I need to convince you, you know?
You don't at all. I just did not see this coming.
Yeah. Either did I. So Ariel is a good girl and a bad girl, right? Like she is good in the sense that she's a good mer person, but also kind of has a little bad side to her because, you know, she likes to sneak up to the surface even though she's not supposed to. She kind of has her own mind about things. Not that that's a bad girl trait, but it kind of goes against the wishes of her father, King Triton. And I think unlike a lot of Disney princesses, Ariel actually knows what she wants. And I'm talking about kind of like the earlier Disney princesses. Ariel was kind of the first to really be very strongly rooted in the idea that she knew what she wanted, and what she wanted was to either be on the surface, and then she saw Eric and knew that she wanted Eric, right? So those are her two kind of major wants throughout the film, and that really spoke to preteen Adam. I was 10 years old when this movie came out, Patrick, and I think this is why I'm so connected to Ariel's, because at that time in my life, you know, you're kind of discovering what love is, but love is also a fantasy at that point. And a lot of your notions, or at least my notions of love, were fantastical and kind of like, it's only good, you know, everything is romantic and dreamy and ethereal. And Ariel in the film is also figuring out what love is. And her love in the film is also that idea of kind of infatuation and fantasy. So that really spoke to me as a 10-year-old.
What a complicated child you were.
Were you like that at all, though? Like, you know, I guess that maybe I was a very romantic child, but I did immediately fall in love with Prince Eric, as Ariel did, you know, and to me, it was all very simple. It was like, oh, you see this person, you think they're attractive. You know, not that I was thinking this complexly, but you think they're attractive, and then you fall in love, and it's happily ever after.
Yeah, for sure. It happens very quickly, and then and then the sort of consequences happen later, and which tells its own tale outside of love, right?
Right. And that's not necessarily what Ariel's experience is. I realize this is still a fairy tale, but to 10-year-old Adam, the fairy tale was still real. Like, it could happen, and that's just the way that life would play out. And so I love that kind of romantic notion and that kind of magical fantasy that love could be. And so I think that's why I'm so tied to her. That was my first experience with a Disney princess where I was like, of course it's Eric. Like, he's so dreamy, you know, and if you can nab that man, you'll have everything you want.
What's interesting about Ariel is when you tie her to the movie, you sort of see the entire movie through Ariel's eyes. And I think that's kind of what you're talking about here, is that she really is the main focus of the story, and you really do feel what she's feeling along the way.
That's right. And a large part of that is due to the fact that she has this beautiful ballad, right? Part of Your World, and the reprise to Part of Your World, where, again, I think, Patrick, for the first time from a Disney princess, we truly get a sense of longing. Like, you know, with Snow White and Aurora, it was just like, someday my prince will come, or, you know, it was kind of very superficial, more so. And with Ariel, you really feel, and this is thanks to Howard Ashman and Alan Menken, right? You really feel her sense of longing that hadn't, I don't think, been so strongly expressed by a princess before.
Yeah, it's a really specific desire that we're getting out of her. And I think you're right. I think it's the original sort of Broadway version, at least, of an I Want song. It sort of was the catalyst for all other Disney princess songs going forward.
That's right. Almost cut from the film, as we've talked about, by that pesky Jeffrey Katzenberg. Thank God it wasn't cut, because it's so beautiful and really lets you know who Ariel is. And again, this is going back to my love of melancholy, I guess. But 10-year-old Adam really was a melancholy kid. And that scene where she's left on the dock as Eric and Vanessa's wedding ship pulls away, I mean, is there anything more heartbreakingly beautiful than that scene?
Yeah, for sure. And then when she makes that decision, you see her make that choice to dive into the water and go after what she really wants is inspiring.
So inspiring. Yeah. And another reason I love her is that her journey is that she's choosing to leave a magical world, a world of merpeople, which may be mundane to her, right? But to us, like to 10-year-old Adam, was like the most magical thing ever. She's choosing to leave that world to go to an actually mundane world, which is, you know, our world. Yes, it was a fairy tale world, but it was a human world. And so that was just such a twist to me that, you know, normally it's like with Snow White, a princess being whisked off to a castle, which is more magical, But here we have a girl, I guess, choosing to leave that magical scenario and go to a more mundane existence or a more mundane world because what she wanted, the man she wanted, was there. And I know there's problems with this film. There's so many problems. Like, she gives up her voice, right? But that's her choice. She's making that choice, and it's a very strong choice to be made. And again, this is just like through 10-year-old Adam's lens, but it was such a powerful moment for her to do that.
Yeah, I totally understand that. And yes, there there is a problem with a story about a girl who decides to change her body and lose her voice and her agency to go after a man that she has never met before. But you have to infuse the fairy tale of it all into it and go, this is not reality. This is a fairy tale. This is just a story that we're telling. Then it becomes more beautiful. And I hope that they take care of that a little bit better in the live action version and sort of alter the message a little bit so that her only desire isn't about the man. It's more about this new discovery of a new world.
We'll see how successfully they can pull that off. It's quite a challenge I think they have ahead of them.
It's going to be tough. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But it is, I think, really well done within the context of the film, within the context of this fairy tale world. And I'll make one last point. Just aesthetically, I said Pocahontas is my most beautiful Disney princess, but what I love about Ariel is the color story going on from her vibrant red hair to her purple shell bra bikini top to her teal merhalf. I love that color combination. I think it really speaks to the late 80s and early 90s, but it's so beautiful to me. The whole film, just the color story throughout the film is so beautiful, but in particular, those three colors in combination on Ariel are stunning.
Yeah, she really popped, and she's really the only person who can pull off those colors. I don't see a lot of people being able to pull off that combination as Ariel does.
It takes a mer person,
It does. It really does.
So that is my number one choice for Fab 5 Disney princesses, Ariel.
Unexpected, but deserved.
Did I at least make my case?
You made a case. You did make a case.
Okay. Patrick, that takes us to your number one. Who is your number one princess?
I think no surprise to anybody, Rapunzel did make my number one princess on the Disney princess list, of course, from 2010's Tangled.
You love her. You love her so much. I thought she might be your number one, and you have every single reason for her to be your number one. Like, she is a fantastic choice.
Yeah. Everything that you said when you placed her on your list, though inappropriately pretty low on the list. It's fine though. It's something you'll have to live with. Here's the thing. I don't really know why I love Rapunzel so much. You know what I mean? I just do. There's something magnetic about the character Rapunzel that I'm just drawn to. There's something very fun and exciting about her, and interesting, and maybe, I guess, a little relatable in the way that she deals with the world, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you have any kind of anxiety issue about making any kind of steps out into the world, I think Rapunzel is entirely relatable. And you're right, Patrick. There's not necessarily one defining characteristic or combination of words that can describe why she is so lovable, but perhaps it is because she is so human. Like, she does have those flaws and characteristics that we recognize in ourselves. Yeah, for sure. She's definitely a character who wears her emotions on her sleeve, right? She's not afraid to fully go through the emotions that she's feeling at any given time. And as you alluded to earlier, it's on full display in, I think, the best scene in the movie, where she touches ground for the first time out of the tower. And she literally goes through every single emotion a person can have in 5 minutes. And it's amazing to watch. And for me, fully relatable. She's a jump into the pool right away kind of a person, and she's learning and observing and soaking in her surroundings all the time.
I just think there's something, and you said this earlier, I think too, there's something so interesting to watch a character experience the world for the first time, but as an adult, not like a child growing up. It's somebody who's fully realized as an adult that's learning every second of the movie of how to behave in the world.
She is a great reminder of how life is meant to be lived. And so when you watch that film and you watch her character go through all these experiences and her reactions to it, which are reactions that any one of us could have, it's just a great reminder that you are supposed to go out and meet these new people and have these new experiences, because that's what it's all about.
Yeah, for sure. She's a little bit of a wild card, right? She keeps you on the edge of your seat because you're never really sure how she's going to react to any given situation. It's anyone's guess, right? Which makes her so human, and her motivations seem really simple and pure, and yet the world around her and her journey is what makes her character so complicated within this movie. And I don't know, I just really love Rapunzel, and I'm so glad that we have this TV show now that lets us explore even more of this character's journey as she discovers even more of the world.
It's a great series. Check it out if you haven't. It's on Disney Plus. It really does completely expand Rapunzel and continues her journey where she ended up emotionally and mentally at the end of the film, which is so great to see. Not often do we get these opportunities to continue to experience a character like this, and it's so fantastic and so well done with the series.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's just be honest, who doesn't love a great hair story,
Oh, so many hair stories. I mean, yeah, but I mean, gorgeous hair, gorgeous looks all around. We talked about the really chopped kind of version that was serving soccer mom realness, and I think we both agreed that maybe she wanted to explore different looks than that.
Listen, it's her journey. She hasn't found the right stylist yet, maybe, but that's okay. It's absolutely okay.
Yeah, Rapunzel is a fantastic princess and continues to just be so engaging in the series.
Yeah, I think she's just so easy to love is what it is. She's so infectious in her emotions that you sort of feel what she's feeling at all times because she's so pure and light and good.
Yeah, just like us.
Exactly like us.
Are we easy to love? I don't know.
I would say so. No one else would, but I would say so.
Well, there we have it, Patrick. We've counted down our Fab 5 Disney princesses.
We did indeed. Did you have any also-rans on your list? I imagine you did.
It was tough. It was tough to kind of call down the lists. Of course I did. Tiana, obviously, was right up there. You know who I thought about adding, but it's still so new, was Namari. Not Raya, but Namari.
Great character, complicated character, for sure.
And just, that scene at the end, I shouldn't go into anything because it's still so new, but there was a real moment there, a really kind of fascinating, beautiful moment with Namari. How about you? Were there any princesses that almost made your list?
For sure. As I said, Pocahontas. I almost added Giselle from Enchanted, but for a couple of reasons I didn't. One, she's actually not a princess because she didn't marry the prince at the end of the movie, and she wasn't a princess to begin with. So she's actually not a princess, though a lot of people consider her one. But also, I think Rapunzel is giving us that Giselle energy, but a little bit more so.
Mm-hmm. That's a great point. Yeah, Giselle is interesting. It's going to be fun to see where she goes in Disenchanted and to see if maybe she sneaks her way onto your list from there. I know she's not maybe an official Disney princess, but is her journey going to be so compelling in that film and kind of dealing with the real world and the idea of happily ever after? Is that going to kind of endear her more to us?
Absolutely. I almost added Anna as well, but strangely, I don't think of her as a Disney princess so much as I just think of her as a Disney character, if that makes sense. I don't know what it is.
That does make sense. I agree with that. Yeah, I do.
Fun fact, Idina Menzel has played 2 Disney princesses.
Why? Because of Enchanted?
Because of Enchanted, because she played Nancy, who did marry the prince at the end of the movie.
Wow. Well, she's been 2 Disney princesses. She's also now a Disney queen and been a princess.
She's 2 queens now, probably. I imagine that she became a queen at the end of Enchanted. I think I read that she is going to be in the new Disenchanted.
Yes, both her and James Marsden are returning, yeah.
Oh, and that's all I really need is those two.
I mean, she's fine, but we really do need James Marsden in everything.
Oh, in everything with so many less clothing items. You know, he's got a real body story happening for him. I'm into it.
Well, we would love to know your Fab 5 Disney princesses. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? Send us your lists. You can do so by reaching out to us on social media. That's Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at GDTD Podcast.
Or you can always leave us a voice memo or an email at info@gaysdothed.com.
Should I maybe have not requested people's lists? Because next week could just be like, you could be reading off 20 damn lists, Patrick.
I hope so. Adam, I'm confused why Elanwin didn't make your list. Is it because you can't say her name?
It may be because I can't say her name, Patrick.
I can't confirm that I actually said her name correctly, so here we are. Hey, Adam.
Hey, Patrick.
You know, it's the end of the episode, which brings me great joy because it means that I will be without you for 3 whole weeks.
What are you even going to do with yourself?
I'm going to learn how to paint. I'm going to build a home for someone.
Sure.
So many things. No, actually, I'll be working very hard trying to piece this podcast together.
It'll be fantastic. And I just want to apologize for holding you back from learning how to paint and building homes.
No worries. I've put it off for this many years. I can put it off for this many more years, you know? And I'd like to apologize going forward for the next 2 episodes. It's been a while since I've stitched together a full episode. So
You're going to be fantastic. The episodes are going to be fantastic. I can't wait to hear them. And I know our Tweedles are going to love them.
I know that is true as well. I'm just painting myself into a safe space. You know?
Sure. Yeah, You're covering all your bases. I got it. And that's a sports reference, Patrick.
Yes, #sports. Well, Adam, we are, in fact, at the end of the episode, and that means it's time for some quick D. And this week, Adam, we have an email from a Tweedle who asks us a very delightful question.
Listen, everybody, we love getting these emails, so keep them coming. We love answering your questions for Quick D.
Yes, we do. We were just talking about this before we hit the record button, that this is one of our favorite versions of Quick D to do when we get to answer one of your questions.
All right, Patrick, should I read the question?
I wish you would, Adam.
All right, this comes from Andy, who you can find on Instagram at AndShaul89. That's AndShaul 89. Andy says, hello. I will be marrying my partner of 11 years this November, and we are going to Orlando for our honeymoon. We are going to do a few days in Disney. I am super duper excited, but him, not so much. While he does like Disney and is most excited for Star Wars, the idea of matching shirts and Mickey ears he is not here for. What can I do to make him excited, and what tips do you have for a gay couple celebrating their honeymoon at Disney? Any must-eats, must-do attractions? Thank you so much, Andy.
Ooh, thank you so much, Andy, and congratulations.
Congratulations. We are so excited for you. 11 years to be together and then to choose to get married. That must be love.
That is commitment. That's for gosh darn sure.
No, but seriously, congratulations. We're very excited that you're going to have the opportunity to take him to Disney World and yourself. I mean, apart from that, but you ask some very important questions. So, Patrick, let's start with, what can Andy do to make his partner more excited?
Money, bribery, full-on bribery.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Money.
Makes the world go round, that's for sure. No, it sounds like he's excited for Star Wars. So it's not as though his partner is uninvolved in the honeymoon, right?
Right. And I mean, Star Wars now at Hollywood Studios, that's really the draw, and he will absolutely love Galaxy's Edge.
Yes, for sure. Here's what I do want to know. I'm going to assume, right, that they're going to be there for a week. Let's just say a week, right?
Okay.
So time is not of the essence. They have some time to play around with, I'm guessing.
He says they have a few days in Disney.
Oh, okay. Well, I should learn to listen a little bit more. A few days, fair enough. Here's my suggestion. I think give your partner a day to choose what they want to do. It's a yes day for your partner, right?
Yeah, that's a great idea. Along those lines, I was going to suggest to remember to schedule in a lot of breaks. You know, Disney World can be very overwhelming for a newbie. And maybe what you want to do is, you know, if you're both drinkers like we are, maybe you want to schedule in some time to be like, okay, we're going to stop at this bar and have a cocktail and just chat, you know, because as Disney fans, we can get very excited and run from one attraction to the next and, you know, run all day on that kind of level of enthusiasm and those endorphins. But for someone who's necessarily maybe not into the parks, maybe they do need those little breaks and those little opportunities to have a more restful experience.
That's a great suggestion. I think it's important to remember that this is your honeymoon and make it about the two of you. Don't make it about trying to get on every single attraction because you'll forget about the vacation then. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. That is a great tip. Make it about the two of you. Yes.
Yeah, slow down for sure. He may not be into this. You said he's not really into the shirts or the Mickey ears, but get those buttons, get those happily ever after buttons because you will get some free desserts. You will get some free cocktails. Maybe you'll be surprised by how well you'll be treated within the parks by the cast members. They love to treat you to things when you have just been married.
Patrick, where can Andy pick up those buttons?
You can get them almost at any store now. I think most places have them, or at any info counter or at the ticket booths even. A lot of places have those buttons.
That's also a great tip. Yeah. Get that free stuff while you can, you know?
Free stuff. I mean, we should have started with that and ended with that. Get free stuff.
And at the very least, it'll just be so lovely to get all of those amazing compliments and congratulations from other guests when they see that you're wearing that button.
Yeah, well deserved. Don't be afraid to celebrate it because it is a momentous occasion for the two of you for sure.
Andy also asks if we have any tips for a gay couple celebrating their honeymoon at Disney. The buttons are a great tip, Patrick. Anything else?
Find Tarzan, maybe? I don't know. I think it depends on what you're into, I guess. I don't know. I can't define your relationship boundaries, but listen, go find Tarzan.
Yeah, I would ask Tarzan to be your third. Or, you know, you can always pick up one of those buttons that says, Tarzan, will you be our third?
There you go. Advertise
the need, you know?
For sure.
Andy also asks, any must-eats, must-do attractions? Well, I mean, this could be a whole episode in and of itself, but Patrick, any must-eats?
I think Tarzan again, right?
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Yeah.
I don't know. What about you? What do you think?
My must-eats are must-drinks. So I guess, I always, going back to was it episode 1, Patrick? The peanut butter chocolate fudge at the Main Street Confectionery in Magic Kingdom is a delicious sweet treat.
I mean, that's for any occasion for sure.
Yeah, celebrating your wedding, celebrating your existence, celebrating blinking.
Celebrate your Thursday with peanut butter fudge.
And must-do attractions, Patrick?
I have to go back to Tarzan. I don't know.
That will do it for this episode of Gays Do the D. Thanks for listening. To become a patron of the podcast, visit our website at gaysdothed.com/donate. For a donation of any amount, you can receive exclusive Gays Do the D content and help us continue to bring you the very best Disney news and discussion. Continue the conversation after this episode on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at GDTD Podcast, and submit your questions or show ideas to info@gaysdothed.com. Have a great week, everybody. See you real soon.